Hello everyone, welcome back to our video channel here on YouTube, or if you're viewing it on our homepage at www.dsrtradefx.com, we welcome you. Hey, listen, what we're going to do right now is set up one of the strategies that we teach first. One of the things that we see with a lot of traders in the market when they come in, they feel like the Forex market is really random and everything just happens at random. Well, we wanted to add some kind of structure to the market. We try to show you direction in the market because once you get that down, then it makes it a little bit easier for you to kind of pick which trade you want to take and to find out which is the wiser trade to take. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and set up the Catapult. We might have to do it in a couple parts because we only got 10 minutes here on the YouTube channel here, so got to kind of scrunch a lot of information down. But right now, we're just going to concentrate on the setup. It's not very complex. I don't need to have a million lines on my chart to find out what I'm doing here, but I'm going to show you how you go from hoping you can make 10 or 20 pips to putting yourself in position to make, wow, I can make 30 pips, 40 pips, 60, 100, or even more pips. So let's do that really quickly. I'm using the FX AccuCharts platform here from FX Solutions, so it might look familiar to some of you. If not, you can do the same exact process on any platform that you're on. So let's go ahead and set it up here. We're going to add 3 moving averages to our chart here. That's one of the best ways I find to be able to figure out what's the direction in the market, what's the intraday trend. I'm going to go down my indicator list here. I'm going to go down to my moving averages here, and I'm going to look for exponential moving averages. I'm going to change the period on the moving average over to 50 because that's the first one that I want. So I'm going to put in a 50 EMA. Now you can see that's on my chart now. You can see the red line that's kind of formulated itself there. What I'm going to do is change the properties on a little bit because we don't leave this one red. We like one of our other ones to be red. So we're going to change the color on it. So I'm going to go over here to Style. I'm going to change the width on it. I want it to be 2 points. And I'm going to make it a light blue so it doesn't conflict with my background. And I'm going to apply that. Now you can see that the color has changed. This is my 50 exponential moving average. The reason why I use a 50 exponential moving average is because a lot of traders, professional traders, will look at this number and say, wow, we just passed our 50-hour moving average. That means there may be a real change in direction here. Is this the way we really want to go? So it's a decision maker for a lot of traders. It kind of can tell you when the trend is changing. So, you know, that's all important in Forex. You want to know when that trend has changed, when it's really changed and not just through a little head fake. So that's one of the ones that we use. Let's go ahead and move right on. We're going to add one more. So I'm going to right click, go to Analysis Tools. And now I'm going to go ahead and add my 21. That 21 period moving average is pretty much the default. I'm just going to hit Insert. You'll notice that came up in red. Well, we like our 21 to be red. So what I'm going to do is right click right on it, go down here to Properties. I'll just make it a little thicker. That's all. So I'll go down here to Style, make it a 2 point. That's perfectly fine. I like it in red. I'm going to hit Apply. Wonderful. Now I've got my 21 moving average there on my screen as well. That's the second one that I use. This one is great because it helps us to start thinking about, should I stay in this trade or should I get out of this trade? That's what that kind of helps us do. It's a visual aid for that. And it also is the 21. So when we cross over that area, it's kind of telling us, hey, maybe something's changing a little bit here. Maybe this is, you know, not the place where you want to be in this trade. So we're going to look at that as well. Let's add the last one on before we kind of get into what we do here and the structure of it. We're going to right click again on the chart, add another exponential moving average. This one's going to be an 8. All right, so let's go ahead and insert that one. We see that it came up as red. I do want to change the color on it. I like to make it green. Why? Because this is my money line. This is the one that tells me, hey, even though there's an opposite color candle in there, stay the course here. Hold on to your trade a little bit. Okay, so I like to make it green. That's not really the color of money. It just kind of stands out on my chart a little bit better. So that's kind of why I use it that way. But as you can start to see now, there's a little structure being shown here in the market. Now you can see, oh, I can see the movements here. Now you didn't need the lines to do that, but as newer traders, we kind of need something a little visual to help us out a little bit sometimes. So that's kind of what we do here at DSR Trade Effects. We try to get you in there where you can kind of see what's going on. Sometimes it'll throw you little head fakes and things, and newer traders are not really keen at seeing that. Well, now we've got structure. We've got our 50, and I'm going to label these. I've got my 50 EMA, right? I've got my 21 EMA here in red. Okay, I'm going to label that. And then I'm also going to label my 8. I've got my 8 EMA, standing for exponential moving average. What do you notice? Well, they're all in numerical order from top to bottom. 50, 21, 8. What does that mean? That means we have trend to the downside. Whenever they line up that way, the 50 on top, 21 in the middle, 8 on the bottom, you've got trend to the downside. Now back here, we can see where the trend was to the upside because we had the 50 on the bottom here. We had the 21 in the middle and the 8 on the top. So we had an uptrend here. So let's kind of draw a line there a little bit and let's do this. We had an uptrend, right? Now what do we have? Well, now we've got a downward moving trend. You can draw a little line there. It doesn't have to be super accurate or anything like that. It's just right now just to get you to see a little direction in the market. So we can use these moving averages to provide a structure, and with just that simple little analysis or simple little structure there, we can tell which way the market's going. Now, if you can tell which way the market is going, makes it a lot easier for you to decide, well, which direction should I place my trade in? Should I place it as a buy or should I place it as a sell? Well, obviously over here with the trend to the upside, that says to us, hey, I'm probably going to do better if I'm buying in the market. Over here, when the trend is to the downside, oh, I'd probably be better if I sell in the market. I have a better shot at that. Now, of course, there are green candles, all through here, that on this downward trend that we're looking at here. We've got some green candles going on in here. But you know what? Our 8 EMA, this green line, helps us because as long as we're closing below that line, we should be in that trade. We shouldn't get out. Don't worry about these green candles that are popping up here. We should always be in the trade. They all close below the 8 until we get to here. Right there. That's the first time it closed above the 8. Am I going to get worried there? Not necessarily, because my 21, which is here in the middle, is really the line that I'm looking for. If it comes and pierces that line and closes above that, then maybe I should be out of this. I might have already been out anyway because of, moving my stop loss down. But just in general terms, we would have had a very great trade here had we just used that principle. Hey, as long as it's closing below the 8, I'm going to stay in. When it jumps up above the 8, I'm going to get concerned. When it gets above the 21, I probably ought to pull the trade. There's something else that could happen here. We're not really totally trending anymore. Maybe that overall move is done. Now, what we do teach, and I'll teach that in the next lesson, is how in the world do you get in this trade? Because when you get into this trade, there's a lot of pips to be made there. You don't have to worry about chasing all of this nonsense in here, all this little nonsense that's going on. You can chase the ones that are going to pay out pretty well. And if you do chase some of these and you lose on a few of them, who cares if you made, a couple of 100 pips on the way down here? You've got something to work with. So that's kind of our first little lesson here on how to set up the Catapult trade. It's a 50 EMA, a 21 EMA, an 8 EMA. We throw that on the chart. We didn't need a whole other lot of indicators and all that stuff to kind of set it up and get you direction in the market. All those other things are fine. That's great. But we want to get you the simple things. I only want to get you the things that you need to make a decision on your trade. So we're going to move on to part 2, and we'll show you what to do with this. All right? Thanks a lot for tuning in to that, and we'll tune you into part 2. Have a great one.